Hello, 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 and welcome to another episode of the We Don't Wanna podcast. We are your hosts. I am Scott, and joining me as always, it's a name fit for a king. It's Zachary Attackery!
Hell yeah, it is, dude. Let me just gas myself up.
Yes.
Real
okay,
quick.
Yeah. King Zach.
You name your kid Zach, or Zachary, or Zachary Attackery.
You're creating a douchebag.
You're creating a fucking bitch. Let me tell you that.
True. This is definitely gassing yourself up, by the way. Also, that definitely checks out. Zachy boy, we are here. We are back. We are talking the Hot D, House of the Dragon, episode 8, the Lord of the Tides.
True.
I just want to say straight away off the top before we get into anything.
Okay.
I feel so great and so grand right now. I feel like you and I, Zach, like bought Microsoft stock in the 80s. We are fucking eating pretty tonight, Zach, because from the drop, who are we buying stock in? Who was our guy?
Whoa, you're coming at me strong.
I'm coming
my
at
guy.
you hard. Who was our guy from episode 1? Why are you?
Viserys.
Yes.
Oh,
Jesus,
yeah, okay.
what is wrong with you right now?
What are you,
You're so fucking confused.
You listeners at home think we script this shit. We don't. Okay, I had no.
Wait,
Yes,
do
Viserys
they
is our
actually
fucking
think
guy.
that?
I mean, I assume.
Viserys was our fucking guy from the drop, and we've taken some heat on this.
We have, especially you fuckers in the Discord.
You fuckers in the Discord. Also, I've taken heat from friends at work on this, and my dude just had the moment of the fucking season. My guy, I fucking love that guy.
Dude.
He is such a goddamn baller.
He is a baller.
He's
Paddy Consantine is a fucking force to be reckoned with, man.
He is a literal walking corpse. A man's like Harvey Dent over here, waking up in the hospital, and just has the most powerful entrance. One of the most powerful entrances in television history.
Oh yeah, by a mile. Also, Sons of the Harvey Dent. Right
Sons of the Harvey.
Dude, his mask gives me major Sons
of the
Harvey
vibes. Yeah. He looks like a Metal Gear Solid villain or something. I don't even know. Like a Hideo Kojima looking ass over here.
Dude, this is all right. Look, you're obviously getting way fucking ahead here,
that's what I do,
which is warranted because Paddy Consantine deserves it. R.I.P. my fucking guy.
Yeah. I just had to gas us up for buying so much Viserys stock early in this show.
Yeah, truly. It's like we bought Netflix like 20 years ago.
Yeah, something like that.
It's absurd. Yeah. This episode, Scotty, dude.
It's a good episode.
Fucking shit,
it's
my
a good
guy.
Fucking episode.
This is a good fucking episode. This episode just non-stop. Like, ooh,
yeah,
I like that. I gotta take a note on that. Ooh,
yeah.
I like that line. That was sick. Ooh, fucking Rhaenys being a badass.
Dude, oh my god.
Everybody, dude. Oh my god.
Was it last week we were literally talking about how we want more Rhaenys and like we think she's a super cool and interesting character and I would love to see more of her. And here this episode comes along and is like, got you, bud. Here's a heaping helping of Rhaenys in this episode and she's gonna kick ass.
Fucking hell, man. Well, so Scott, did you like this week's episode or not?
I think I like this episode. Okay. I don't know if I would quite put it on the level of, was it episode 5?
I think it was
6?
5.
The one we loved, the one we raved about, the one
with the feast at the end.
Yes, the feast at the end.
Brawl.
I obviously I'll have to watch through this season once it's over again and you know, kind of rank things better, but this episode was fan-fucking-tastic from beginning to end. Like just all the way around, like music, visuals, like acting, like storyline, dialogue.
You are not fucking lying, dude. Also, I really hope that you're on board with this. Although, if you're not, it's fine. My boy, Ewan Mitchell, the new casting of Aemond, I loved him.
I liked most of the new castings. I mean, he's a real sack of shit, but I liked the new Aegon more.
Oh, yeah, way better than young Aegon.
Almond
sure.
Milk, it's like, he's also a sack of shit, and I think I started.
don't think he's as much of a sack of shit.
No, not
we'll
as
talk
Aegon,
about it,
for sure. I was like, I wanted to like him a lot early in the episode because, I mean, it's scientifically proven fact that if you have an eye patch, it's like plus 10 coolness points.
True.
That's just fact. Snake Plissken taught us that a long time ago. And so I wanted to like his recasting. Let's see, who else was there? Those were
the reason I'm specifically like, in particular, hype about Ewan Mitchell recasting for Aemond is he plays one of my favorite characters in that show, The Last Kingdom, that you did not get on board with.
True.
You don't meet him until later in the series,
gotcha. But so you recognized him instantly.
I recognized him immediately. Gotcha. Actually, I had heard that he was the recasting, and I was very excited about it.
Okay.
And man, he just doesn't disappoint. He's fantastic in The Last Kingdom. I loved his character. Way more soft boy in The Last Kingdom, and now we're kind of getting to see a very different side, and I am so into it.
I'm about to go get in a knife fight in like a bad part of town or something, just so I can get a cool fucking eye patch. I just fucking love eye patches, man.
Hell yeah, man.
But yeah, why don't we start at the top? The first scene, of course, we get at Driftmark, where what is his Corman? What was his name?
Corlys?
Corlys, is that it? No. Corlys is the one that's wounded. Corland is the
Vaemond.
What
in the fuck? What show are you watching?
Dude, okay, but fucking don't even talk to me about the names of this fucking show. If I have beef with this show, it's that, but it's also like, it's gotten to a point where it's gotten so ridiculous that I flip back around to liking it again.
Right.
Anyway, he thinks he's like the hottest of shit and wants to like take
I haven't
over
liked this
house.
motherfucker since the beginning. Dude.
No, I understand where he's coming from because he's like, look at these fuckers. They are not related to me, and I sympathize with that. But yeah, he got way too big for his britches. Rhaenys, I like that she, put him in his place. And yeah, I don't have much else to say about this opening scene. Did you?
Yeah, no, I mean, other than, like, we're learning that Corlys is more than likely dead, although we all know the classic trope. If we haven't seen him die on screen, he's probably not dead.
He's coming back.
He's coming back for sure. Yeah,
I mean, how many times did we think Viserys died?
Yeah, true. Vaemond obviously playing his hand, reveals that Alicent and the Hightowers are actually the ones who are essentially ruling.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just kind of moving forward. Also, hold on really quickly, but before I actually move forward, we have never specifically called out Rhaenys, the actress.
I think we have, but go ahead, because I agree with probably what you're about to say.
Well, we never
I see.
called out her name. Sure. Eve Best is her name.
She's real good.
She is fantastic, dude. She unfortunately does not get a whole lot to do.
I wish she got more.
Truly, every scene that she's in, she shows how great of an actress
she has a scene later that in a lot of other episodes would have been like the scene of the episode. It's not even like a hugely important thing. I just found it fascinating, but we'll get to that.
Right.
The visuals, quick shout out to the visuals. This sweeping shot over Dragonstone as it like goes up to like the mountain where my boy Damon is playing some Minecraft for some dragon eggs. That shot
a little Uncharted.
That shot was fucking gorgeous.
And then the immediate cut to the chasm,
Yeah,
like with all the negative light,
like
like
climbing
all the
down.
negative space.
Yeah.
Beautiful,
So
beautiful
well
camera
shot,
work.
so cool. Just we've talked about it a lot, but I don't think it can be said enough how impressive the show looks. How the budget is there.
The budget
and
is
they
truly
used
there.
it. They used it well. So wanted to
Yes.
shout that out.
Daemon finds a dragon or a couple dragon eggs.
Mhm.
This is big stuff like
Sure.
that.
Cyrax is long boy. Should I say long girl? Have I been calling our favorite long boy?
I don't know.
Is she actually a long girl?
I don't know.
Or is
I
that
suppose.
Rhaenyra's dragon? I can't remember.
No, yeah, Cyrax is Rhaenyra's dragon.
Okay, 'cause he's-
Caraxes
Okay, yes.
is his.
He said, yeah, that's right, because he did say Cyrax had a clutch of eggs, whatever. So these are
Yeah.
Rhaenyra's dragon's eggs.
Yeah.
Then okay.
Which is very befitting that now she is having actual Targaryen children.
Right? True.
Yeah.
One, right? She's got one so far and one in the
Yeah.
oven, kind of thing.
Yeah. No, she has two.
Does she have two already?
Well, yeah. Does she not introduce when she's
right,
introducing them
Viserys
to?
and Aegon. There's another
Yeah.
fucking Aegon, right?
Yeah, dude. Fuck them all.
Jesus Christ. And she's still got one in the chamber too.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. One in the chamber. Anyway.
Very fitting
this
then,
is-
because he said 3 eggs and
Yes.
yeah. Okay, gotcha.
Very good. We love the symbology, guys. that we-
Symbolism.
Hey, for everybody out there, Scott many years ago corrected me that symbology is not a real word. Because I used to say that shit.
It's the study of symbols.
Yeah, and
I suppose it's a real word.
just in case y'all say symbology when you're talking about this kind of stuff, it's not. It's not the word.
You
It's
should.
symbolism.
You'll sound real smart if you
yeah,
do.
you'll sound real fucking good with the words.
Good with the words.
So we also learn that so like with the note that was sent,
Mhm.
the letter that was sent to Damon. Sorry,
yeah.
Damon. That Rhaenys, Daemon, and Rhaenyra are not on great terms because she believes that they plotted to have Rhaenyra killed,
Right.
which is
Makes sense.
pretty. Yeah, makes good sense, and I'm glad that Rhaenys is not an idiot,
Right.
because good, yes, that is essentially what happened, although they did not actually have him killed.
I really kind of thought Rhaenyra was gonna tell her later in the episode when they have that chat. I was like,
I feel like he's coming back at some point.
I also
Like,
feel like he probably will too.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why
you can
leave
have
that
a
open?
highborn just leave and not die? He's coming back.
Yeah. Agreed.
So they head to
King's Landing.
King's Landing. And I've also got to say, to your point, this is also kind of goes like with the like just how well it's shot. They're doing an incredible job with the set pieces and just like the set work in general, because it is tremendous the difference that it the difference it makes, the way that it feels like when they're getting to King's Landing now. It feels dead. It feels decrepit and withered and like sinister almost. Very like melancholy to the entirety of King's Landing. It's all gray. Whereas like if you remember back to like episode 1 or 2, we could not stop talking about how bright and colorful and like fantastical it all looked. And it's like, man, it's just so befitting, you know, to the times.
Right.
So good work on that. Way to set the stage. And then we get this scene where Alicent is sitting in the small council, and I know that a lot of people out there are like jumping on the Olivia Cook is hot bandwagon. And I just need to say that I, too, am jumping on that bandwagon. She is so fucking
No,
hot,
I
dude.
thought it was Elizabeth Stone, right?
Who's that? Man? I don't know what you're talking
You
about.
were jumping on that Elizabeth Stone.
Yeah. Dude, she's so beautiful.
She is. She's very pretty.
She is fucking looking real good in her green.
Dude, she's wearing green. Wow.
She's wearing green,
wow.
man. Yeah. Yeah, she's also very annoyed with this small council meeting.
Yes.
Beesbury
just will never shut up.
Yeah,
and this
isn't
Jason Lannister, right? What's the twin's name? This isn't my guy. I don't think.
Tylus?
He's not as cool as Jason. I just need more Jason Lannister in my life.
Dude, yeah. There's something about when a very attractive woman like Olivia Cook, like Alicent, like looks really annoyed and like
that you just love,
and then I'm like, oh,
that really gets your motor running, does it?
Damn,
I'm not gonna disagree with you on that one. Who is this fucker that is on the council that's like hating on my boy Beesbury, who's like, why would they call that into question? I wonder. Just that sarcastic motherfucker. I don't like him.
I don't know.
He sucks. I don't like him.
Sure. I mean, I didn't even have a thought about it.
All right, fair enough.
Okay, sure.
This is when we get to see the cockroach of this show just literally won't go away, won't die. Our dude Viserys. I still don't believe he's dead, by the way. Like,
Dude,
they
survives a nuke.
he will literally survive a nuclear apocalypse. They can do a final death scene for him at this end of this episode all they want. We're gonna turn on next episode and he's still gonna be there. He's just gonna be like
he's gonna be a literal Halloween skeleton decoration.
Skeleton decoration. And he's gonna be like, won't you just get out? But anyway, it hit me in the feels. First of all, like his beautiful model set is all like cobwebbed up.
Yeah.
And it's just, you can tell.
Again, props to the sets,
yes.
the set design. It's just so good.
It's
man.
very, very good. And
very thoughtful.
I think we've mentioned this before in our talks, but like Zach and I don't text or talk about the episodes during or like before we get on here and have these conversations. But when I saw my dude, I had to immediately text Zach because there was that meme that we mentioned where basically it was like progressing of the different episodes of how Viserys looked. And
right.
It was like he kept getting worse. And then it was like episode 8 and it was just a picture of Gollum from Lord of the Rings. So I once we saw him, I was just forced to immediately text Zach. I was like, oh, fuck, it's even worse than Gollum.
Yeah, I knew that Scott was having a real laugh about it because Scott, again, as he mentioned, does not.
Yeah.
We don't talk during.
It was. I wasn't. I was just so taken aback by it. I was like, I was being very genuine. I was just like, oh no, shit, it's worse than Gollum.
Yeah.
But he's still kicking ass and taking names, though.
Dude, so like on the real here. He looks terrible. Like it's like.
Oh, it's
I don't know if like anybody out there has ever. I mean, I'm sure there are people like this has got to be very relatable to people who have had to see like a loved one.
Yes.
In a state like this, and it is truly heartbreaking. Like not only the physical state of him, but also the mental state of him.
Yeah.
It's just horrifying.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to deal with that or have to go through that.
I've been there, with grandparents before.
It's tough, man. It's tough. So it very, very emotional. And although the initial conversation is very emotional, and we'll talk about it more later, but when Rhaenyra goes back into his room in the middle of the night, and she's crying over his bed with him, that is just heart wrenching. It is a fantastic.
That one hit
scene.
me in the feels for sure.
Whew, man. And again, Scott and I never stopped talking about Paddy Consantine's performance here, but like his range that he has displayed in this show alone. I don't know. I've never watched anything that Paddy Constantine has ever done, but I am going to be looking for it now because in just this show, his range has been unbelievable.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, just crazy.
Yeah.
The difference that this man is able to like perform and display in every scene or from scene to scene. So yeah, I mean, just completely captivated by this, man. So good.
Yeah, mad props to him. Daemon, my like for Daemon has been building. I appreciate that he, he's kind of looking out for his brother, but he's also, looking out for himself and their cause, and like trying to like let him know, hey, this is what's going on. We need to tell you this. What is this you're drinking? Type of thing. But yeah, we'll talk about that more later once we get to those scenes. But is this where he basically tells Otto like, I want to have the supper, or is that even later?
That's after he's having. I think it's a little later.
Okay.
I think it's another cut back to him. I mean, we can talk about that now though. Because I think the only thing that we see is like the training ground scene. I think.
Oh, right.
And then it goes back. But yeah. So, what were your thoughts on that?
I was just like, I was curious how this was gonna go down because I was like, oh, he wants to have dinner tonight, but aren't they having like the whole hearing like today? Like, how is that gonna play off? Or is Otto gonna be like, oh, I'm sorry,
No, it is the next day. I'm sorry, I'm mistaken because he tells that to Otto the morning he wakes up,
right.
When like where the night previously was when Rhaenyra goes and visits him.
Oh, that's right.
That's truly heartbreaking.
Right. Yeah.
So yeah, no, this is a couple scenes
So
away.
did you want to say anything about like the training yard scene then, or?
Yeah, I do actually. Well,
I'm liking Jason Luke more and more, by the way.
I am too, yes. Yeah. Rhaenyra's kids are growing on me. But we get this very interesting. This was very lost, and if I wasn't like reading my notes intently here, I would have forgotten about this with how many fantastic scenes are in this episode. But the scene where you learn that Aegon had sex with like his chick, I don't know, like his like, is it a handmaid? I don't know, whatever she is, right?
Serving gal.
It's a very interesting scene. Like, I couldn't tell what Alicent was going to do about it. There was like a good portion of that conversation where she's like, I believe you. And I was like, she's going to pull out a knife and like slit her throat or something. I just thought like she wanted to kill her.
Right. I was kind of confused by that scene as well because I thought it was like something way more serious than just Aegon, banging a random gal. I'm like, doesn't he do that on the reg? Like, they were acting like it was very serious. Like, I thought the way she phrased it, where she's like, I brought him his wine and I turned around and I saw him. I was like, did he like jump out a window or something? Like, is Aegon dead? Like, what is happening? Like, it seemed way more serious than
totally
just that, because I feel like that's just Aegon's got to been doing that for forever. I feel like
right. I feel like it's just simply her disdain for Rhaenyra's situation and
sure
her kids. Like, just like we're not touching that. Like we're not doing that. I don't know. I could be wrong, but yeah, it did seem a little much.
Yeah.
But the way that she handled it was like, okay, makes sense. Yeah. It just seemed like we were talking about a much bigger deal.
Right. And then she slaps the shit out of him because
she goes, my note was Aegon out here looking like a real fucking bum.
He is such a fuckboy, dude.
Dude, he is
He's like, oh, Mom, I'm in bed. What do you want? And then I feel like he tries to pull the whole, I have done everything you have asked of me. And I'm just like, I'm calling bullshit on that.
Bullshit.
Like, listen, we haven't seen a ton of your, like, growing up in interactions, but I feel like I want to call bullshit on that, Aegon.
Yeah, same.
So, anyway.
So then it finally gets to the training ground, and we get our first look at grown-up Aemond.
Yeah.
Training with Kristen, or excuse me, Sir Crisco.
Yeah. Thank you.
Yeah.
Sir Crisco vegetable oil.
Yeah. Just truly
big time glow up.
Badass.
Big time glow up for my guy.
Dude, truly,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
It's funny because at the end of the episode, Amanda and I were talking about this, and she goes, he has like a chin. And she kind of gave me this look, and I was like, oh my God, Amanda, are you serious?
He has like a chin. True,
Yeah.
I guess.
Apparently that's something for Amanda to be like having the hots for, but I think Amanda has the hots for Aemond.
Fair enough. Listen, like I said before, like eye patches can make just about anyone look like a badass. So
yeah, truly. Also, so like he has outgrown Aegon quite a bit.
Oh, yeah.
He's much taller, which I think is really cool. Like whether this, I mean, I'm sure this was intentional, but like Aemond just seems like he's kind of always been forced to live in his brother's shadow.
Right.
But he lives his life like he has something to prove because he does.
Definitely.
You know what I mean? He feels like he does.
Yeah.
And even the visual representation of that, of him like growing to be like a taller, broader, like bigger human than, you know what I mean? I do think that that's really cool casting or direction if that was intentional. Which I'm sure it was. I feel like the casting is what HBO has always excelled at, but it's very funny to see him standing next to Aegon because of this. Because Aegon is just this like fucking wormy little bitch, dude. Like he's a fuck boy. Yeah.
And Aemond is like a man, like a badass young man.
Yes.
And Aegon still looks like half a child, basically.
And for what it's worth, Scott, I have so all you listeners, if you're just finding us, you may not know this, but like neither of us have read Fire and Blood. Most of you guys know that. Although I've not read Fire and Blood, I have heard of an Aemond Targaryen who is a fucking like badass monstrous warrior.
Yeah.
And I'm pretty sure that this is our guy right here.
So I know there is a legendary Targaryen by the name of Aemond, Prince Aemond the Dragon Knight, I believe is what he is like referred as in like legend or history. And after he got Vhagar and got the sick eye scar and everything, I was like, it passed through my mind of like, could this be Aemond the Dragon Knight? Because again, I think we touched on this last week too. Like, my concept of timelines in history is very not great when it comes. Listen, there's a lot of lore in Song of Ice and Fire, and there's only so much of it my limited mind can retain. I'm not Alt Shift X over here.
Shouts out.
But that thought crossed through my mind. I was like, nah, there's no way. And then, like, when they show him in the training yard fighting Kristen Cole, Sir Crisco, I was like, oh shit, I think this might be Aemond the Dragon Knight.
Dude, yeah.
Although, again, it totally might not be. It might just be another random Aemond because, again, the Targaryens and their fucking names.
So I don't know if that's his, like, epithet, the Dragon Knight, but I do know of, this is like maybe borderline, I don't know anything that he's actually done, so like this won't be spoiler, but I know of an Aemond having to do with the Dance of the Dragons for being a fucking menace.
Okay.
And only in the last episode or two, I have realized, like, oh, that's our guy. And especially now, I'm like, yeah, that's definitely our guy. So I'm standing for Aemond pretty fucking hard right now.
Right.
Also, again, it's my boy Ewan Mitchell, just doing a fantastic job of looking like a mean motherfucker. So
All this is
I'm
true and
about it.
fair. I almost am tempted to think that it is a different Aemond, because I could have sworn that Aemond the Dragon Knight was more in the time of the like the Black Dragon versus the Red Dragon, which is much later.
The Blackfire Rebellion.
Yeah, the Blackfire Rebellions.
Could be.
But again, I could be wrong on that too. So like Duncan
Sure.
Egg times is what I was thinking.
If you guys want like good lore history, which I mean, like we can talk Game of Thrones stuff and like have a ton of trivia and knowledge from Game of Thrones, but if you guys want like a true history, you guys can go check out Alt Shift X. You guys can check out the History of Westeros podcast. Like those are great sources of people doing that type of stuff. We're here talking about the show.
We're here.
Yeah, we're here to talk about the show, the filming, the production, the acting,
and to make sick jokes,
and to make some dick jokes here. So, just in case y'all didn't know, so we get this scene right after this with Rhaenyra and Rhaenys in the Godswood.
Yes.
And I love Rhaenys, dude.
I love Rhaenys.
I love Rhaenys, man. Yep. She is
more of her, please. Thank you.
Truly, more of her. This conversation is essentially like, you plotted to have my son killed. Rhaenyra's like, no, I didn't. I swear, believe me. And Rhaenys is like, okay, yeah, fuck you. And Rhaenyra makes the offer like, hey, what if we marry our children? And this way, it also like cementing our alliance, but like cementing that a Valerian will sit on the Driftwood throne, or the whatever the hell it's called. And she tells Rhaenys responds with a generous offer or a desperate one. And Rhaenyra, rightly so, says, what does that matter?
Yeah. And Rhaenys is like, well, you're right.
At least in this, you are right. It does not matter.
Yeah.
And I'm like, man, I need her on screen more.
She's real good.
She's got wisdom. She's got finesse. She's got sick one-liners, which there's another one later in the episode.
My gal also shouts, she ages like a fine wine also. I feel like she has looked exactly the same from episode 1 to now. So shouts to her and her like
her
skincare routine. Yeah, that's
skincare routine.
Shouts to Rhaenys' skincare.
It's all the ancestral blood is what it is, dude.
She's got the finest lotions from Volantis, my dude. Yeah, phenomenal scene. I was curious to see which way Rhaenys would go, and I do wonder if
that'll change.
Well, no, I was gonna say if that was her plan all along, or if Viserys stepping into the room made her change her tact a little bit.
I feel like that's the case.
I feel like it probably is as well.
Yeah.
But next is the scene at night where she goes and visits Viserys, right?
Yes. So Rhaenyra ends up in Viserys' bedroom again in the middle of the night, and she's essentially, I mean, she's in tears.
Right.
And I feel like this was, I have to say here, like, aside from the scene, just like character standpoint, this was a very much needed scene for Rhaenyra. I feel like she has, unfortunately, through the recasting and like moving into like this portion of the Dance of Dragons, she's been a little bland for my taste.
Yeah.
She hasn't had much to offer. There wasn't a lot of a human element about her. She's kind of just been like writing what's happening.
Also, we agree she makes some of the worst decisions ever. Yes.
She's not the brightest tool in the shed.
But this was a very
human
human
moment.
and like you
it
said,
was
needed is a great, but we needed a scene like this for her.
Yes, and it worked.
Yeah.
Despite my lack of buy-in from her recently, it really worked.
Yeah.
She's heartbroken, and I think this is a culmination of several things. Obviously, her situation, but also seeing her father in this state. And she finally is like, this, like, I don't know that I even want this anymore. Essentially, obviously, paraphrasing. This is just too much to handle. And she's like, do you believe what you told me about the Song of Ice and Fire?
I'm glad they brought that back around too.
I am glad too. You know, I was a little worried that, I think maybe we talked about this in that episode. We did that it was going to be like, oh, are we trying to cling on to too many Game of Thrones things to like make it relevant or for fan service or whatever? But again, it works.
Yeah.
I'm glad that it came back in this manner. And she's essentially like, do you truly believe it's me? Cause like I can't do this. And he's not really able to articulate or answer. And there's a couple of truly beautiful shots here where the camera kind of pans and we see a profile shot of
I know
Rhaenyra
exactly the one you're talking about.
With the thunder and with the lightning behind her and the rain.
She's crying.
And it is just gorgeous. Gorgeous camera work. So, I mean, truly, truly incredible direction here. And before he can answer, because I don't really think he's capable of answering, she's like, if it's true, then please help me. Like, please defend me. Man, again, so needed for her. And beautifully executed, I feel like, in this scene. And it feels like it's kind of falling on deaf ears, which is really is where a lot of like the heartache and pain at the end of this scene is like, she's pleading and like he can't even like he can't help, you know? And then we get the cut to the morning after where he tells Otto, I want to see my family. And it's like, oh, dude, it just sinks in.
That's so what worried me and why I think this worked so well was I feel like this is a good misdirect. It was because it had me thinking in the moment of like, oh, you know what? He's gonna try and do something for her, but I wonder if Otto will try to pull like, oh, well, it's too late, my king. We've already decided this earlier today. You know, I'm sorry that's all done at the supper. So that's why I feel like him talking about this supper played it really well because it seemed like, oh, so he is trying to do something, but he's not in his right mind enough or, you know, like strong enough to go do something about here and now. He'll try and do something about it this evening. So that's why when he fucking walked into that throne room, man, I was just like, that's my goat right there. That's my dude.
It's incredible the difference between you and I, Scott, because like you are like everything about you is pragmatism and everything about me is emotion. I feel like. Because when he tells Otto, to me, when he tells Otto, I want to have a feast, whatever, have all the family. The first thing that went through my head was he heard Rhaenyra. Like her words weren't falling on deaf ears. You know? And that's all that mattered to me. I was like, yes, like I was so happy and so excited and just like, I don't like my heart was filled.
You're right.
Because of it. And you're over here like, well, how does this gonna work? He's not gonna be able to do this. Like, he's not gonna be able to accomplish anything. Right.
Well, that's what I was concerned about it because I was like, I think he's trying to do something. I think he's trying to help her.
Right.
But I wonder if that's just if it's you know like, oh, it's too late.
Little too late.
Yeah,
almost.
Too little too late. Exactly. And that's why it was so exciting. It was so hype. The music was phenomenal. When he walks through that fucking door, I felt like Daemon helping him up the steps like his brother. It was such a fantastic moment.
Such a beautiful touch to this incredible. I'm so glad you said this at the top of our episode that maybe one of the best entrances in television history.
So
I think that's a very. I mean, look, there's absolutely some recency bias happening here.
Yeah,
but like,
yeah, definitely.
It is beautifully done.
Because
it's so powerful.
Because it's not like your typical grand entrance where someone is like strong, striding in, has a very powerful air about them. It's literally the opposite. You know, he's on a crutch, just hunched over, like
but
barely make
powerful.
it. Yes, but the authority is there, and you can feel it in the room. Where, like, you know, all the good shots of like everyone reacting, like exchange looks like, oh fuck, oh shit, like Otto and Alicent and that other dude whose name I can never, Aemond, that are just like looking around like, oh shit, we did not count on this, like, this fucks our plans royally. But it's just this decrepit walking corpse hobbling up to the throne, but yet like the majesty and the power of the moment just works so well.
Fantastic. And then him turning to Otto and saying, I will sit the throne today.
Maybe. So I love that line.
Fuck, dude.
But the even better line is when he gets up to the throne and is just like, I find myself confused. Because it's like, this matter should be settled. Like, what are we fucking doing here? Why are we even having this conversation?
Yeah.
And I love that he posed it that way of like, I find myself confused.
Just walked my ass all the way up here to address something that shouldn't even be needing to be addressed.
This is done. Settled. What are we doing? Why are we even talking about this? You made me walk my ass up these big ass stairs.
Could have died. I could have fallen on one of these swords.
There's so many sharp objects in here, and I'm on a cane. So good. Just so fucking good. I want his cane, by the way. His cane's badass.
I want his mask, his cane. I want this guy to just.
I'm telling you.
Oh my god, he's incredible. I will never stop talking.
I will never stop standing for him. He vaulted. I think he's top 5 of like Song of Ice and Fire characters for me at this point.
Holy shit, that's impressive coming from you.
I know.
That is very impressive.
I think he's just. And we'll get to it later. We'll talk about it more, obviously, when we get to the dinner scene. But just like his character, I feel like is just in such a unique place because he truly has just done everything that he feels has been best for his family, and yet his family just like refuses to get along, refuses to like cooperate with each other, constantly at each other's throats, and he's just this guy caught in the middle of this, you know, feud, and it's just
what his problem is not, I don't know that I would say problem, but like the catalyst of this entire story is that he is too human.
Yes.
He is a human person making these decisions that affect the entire realm.
Right.
And he doesn't have the pragmatism that he needs to be a powerful king.
Right.
You know, he doesn't have the decision making in that. And for all the reasons out there that people are saying, you know, he's a terrible king and I don't like Viserys because he's weak and yada, yada, yada. I don't think that any of those statements are incorrect or wrong or invalid because they're all true. What I think is just, I feel like people are so, I'm gonna kind of give myself a little bit more credit than I probably should, but like I feel like this is where I really excel here is that like I do look at things very emotionally initially, but like I'm able to separate that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like people are too clouded by somebody not being a good king or good in their role, and they're mistaking that for having an uninteresting character or a bad character, and those are two vastly different things. And he is not a good king. He's a I was gonna say good father. He's doing the best he can with what he has.
Yeah, listen, he has been put in some impossible positions, some impossible choices. But like I said, that like we've said before, he is just a guy. He's like
Yes.
such a normal ass guy. Like after like I think about all those scenes we got after his wife died, where you can tell he just wants companionship and to like be comforted, and he's so human, and you don't get. I feel like you just don't see many characters.
Yes.
That are portrayed in this way in media very often, at least not in my experience.
Agreed. I mean, truly, you and I talked about how George Martin acknowledged how like this rendition of Viserys is better than his own writing of him, and I just think that I encourage everybody out there to like see that side of it, like the person who created the character of Viserys, who is correct, who's not intended to be a good king. We would not be in this situation had we had a better king on the throne.
Or a stronger king, if you will.
Yeah, true. Okay, that's a better choice of words. He just says this character is more nuanced. He's just a more beautifully designed character than what I wrote.
He's flawed. He's a flawed human, as all humans are, and when those flaws are portrayed in such a way where it creates such, compelling characters, when it's interesting and compelling, like I just don't understand what's not to love.
I also, for anybody out there who is just kind of getting to know us, and more aptly you, Scott, getting to know Scotty Westside here, this is 100 billion% the opposite of the type of character Scott likes, FYI. So something is working, or Scott is going through a midlife crisis.
It could be a little all of the above.
Yeah.
Could be. One more thing about this throne room scene, like I can't say highly enough how much I like the touch of like Daemon going up to help him too. Like
of him wanting to shrug off. I got it.
Yeah.
Realizing it's Daemon
and then accepting
the help.
Yep. Because
he just wants his family, dude.
They have had such a tumultuous relationship, dude. Like, how many times has Viserys banished Daemon and like kicked him while he's literally on the floor, hungover? And it's just like, man, in this moment, it's just like they're brothers again, and it's just, man, it was so good.
Yes,
it's so good.
Yes.
Then Daemon puts that sword to work.
Oh yeah, dude! I honestly forgot this even happened. Holy fucking hell!
Vaemond played his hand and played it hard, and lost a little more than his tongue. He kept his tongue, I guess.
He did keep his tongue. You're right. He did keep his tongue. Boy, that
escalated quickly.
Yeah, it did. I mean, I was expecting maybe like a fight or something like that.
Same.
But like, just the forward shot.
Yeah. It was a cool shot.
And then see the sword pass right through his face, which Dark Sister, Valyrian Steel, like butter.
Hell yeah.
Just like butter through his face. Oh, man. Okay. Moving forward. We get the scene with Rhaenys.
Yes. This was the scene I was talking about earlier.
Boy.
It's so...
Does she command a scene?
It's so quick and, like, seemingly inconsequential of a scene, but, like, it's just... I feel like it speaks so much to, like, her character and, like, who she is, and, like you said, just how she can command a scene. Like, holy shit.
Yes. I feel like what I'm getting from Rhaenys and her character is that she has been... not by choice, but put on the sidelines of everything, and has been forced to sit idle while things are happening, while big momentous things are happening. And there is absolutely a sense of like she's kind of done with that, and I love that for her.
And also, like she says, it's just like so much she has had to watch so much of her family die. Like two of her two children, like her daughter and her son, even though her son's not technically dead. Now her husband is seemingly dead. her brother-in-law here, even though they weren't on the best of terms. It's just like she's like numb
She
to
also
it
she had to
at
watch
this
her
point.
did you mention her brothers? Sorry.
No. Who were her brothers?
Her brothers were supposed to take the throne after Jaehaerys died.
Oh, right, yeah. So yeah, it's just like she's so numb to it at this point, and it's just like, damn.
Yeah,
it's good stuff.
It is incredible stuff, and we get this so she's looking at them kind of like sewing up and like prepping Vaemon's body to be sent back to Driftmark. And she's just standing there watching. It's this very like uncomfortable scene, and the Grand Maester tells her, "Oh, actually, hold on. By the way, new Grand Maester. What happened to the old one?"
I assume he's dead, but I don't know. He was old, right?
Interesting. Okay, yeah, I suppose. He tells her, essentially it's bad luck to be looking at the dead. And she responds with, "The stranger has visited me more times than I can count, Grand Maester. I assure you, he cares little whether my eyes are open or closed."
What a badass.
What a fucking badass, dude.
That's so cool.
I love her, man. She's so good.
That's some like Arya shit right there.
Yes. Yeah, truly. That is a very Arya-ish quote.
Or one she would like learn from one of her mentors or something like that.
Right. I am just like truly enjoying Rhaenys on screen.
Yep.
And I feel like for a lot of people out there, she might just be too easy to just kind of be like on the sideline, like she's just there. She is so interesting to me.
I would love to see more of her.
She delivers a line like a fucking master. So big fan of that.
We gotta talk about this dinner scene.
Oh boy.
We gotta talk about this dinner scene. So some reconciliation. This was something I did not see coming. But again, my dude Viserys just makes such an impassioned plea that like it moves Rhaenyra and Alicent to the point where they seemingly, and I think it's genuine in the moment, like have a reconciliation.
This guy, dude, can we talk about the face reveal?
He literally looks like Harvey Dent.
He looks like Harvey Dent, dude. Harvey Dent
in the Dark Knight. Yeah.
Man, it is. I love that it's done in this way, though, man. Like, I wish for you all to look upon me, the real me, as I am. I think is how he phrases it. Not as your king, but as
your father, your husband,
grandsire.
Yeah.
And essentially is like, can't we all get along?
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, the dude
fucking guy
just wants the best for his family, and his family refuses to cooperate.
He's so naive, though, and I mean, it's so sad.
Yes, it is. And obviously, like, he understands the weight and the responsibility that is on, like, the crown and like just his family's shoulders, and like how they, the responsibility of the entire realm is basically like on the shoulders of the people in that room. But he just wants his family to get along, man.
Yeah, man.
That's all he wants. He's just a dying old man, and he just does not want his family at each other's throats.
This is just like so like this is real.
Yes. That's what I'm saying.
Like we keep talking about this, but like there are probably many of you listeners out there who have had maybe some like family tension. Can you not picture your grandmother or grandfather or great grandmother, whoever it is, an older head of the house, just wanting their family to be with them?
Yeah.
And we hear in the real world, we hear stories of like a grandfather or grandmother laying on their deathbed like just really truly hanging on, barely hanging on. And like you'll hear stories of our his granddaughter was able to make it in from out of town,
Yeah,
and he's finally gets to see her, and then he dies. Like, or then he passes. And this is like a real, like, this is a very common thing. Like,
it
people in this state are holding on for something,
right, exactly.
And in this moment, which I am skipping ahead of the dinner here a little bit, I'm sorry, but seeing them laugh and have fun and reconcile,
dude, oh my
differences,
god,
and just how it like you're getting this like motion blur of all this happening, and like in between like these movements, you get some clarity on his face a couple times, and he is just in pure bliss.
I started to worry at one point. I was like,
he's dying now.
I was
right?
like, are we? Well, not even that. I was much more worse than that. I was thinking like, oh shit, is this some kind of like death fever dream he's having? Like, because like even fucking Otto was smiling at one point. I was like, Otto doesn't fucking smile, and like laughing, and everyone was having a good time. I was like, this seems like too good to be true. Are we about to get like a sharp like cut to like just him dead and everyone still like hating each other? That's what I was terrified of, because it was like,
that would have been interesting to see, like just to see it done.
He was like so happy, and I was so scared they were gonna take that away from me.
That would have been real fucked up, dude.
That would have been so fucked up, but
no, I'm so glad in the way it happened. Like, anyway, sorry, I kind of jumped a lot of stuff throughout this dinner, but we get these toasts after his plea. Good on Rhaenyra. Again, kind of a needed action from her. She's been too. You know what it is, Scott? I think I've finally figured out.
Okay, what is it? Hit me.
Do you remember years ago when Rogue One came out?
Yes, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, right? I'm about to piss a lot of people off here. And you sent me that video, or maybe I sent you the video. I can't remember now, but talking about the importance of characters like applying action to move the story rather than the plot deciding these things for them, right? And the comparison there was the difference between Rey. This is before 8 and 9 had come out. This was just at the time when The Force Awakens was out, and Rogue One came out shortly after. And the comparison there was between Rey and Jyn Erso. Right. And how Rey is a catalyst in moving the story. She's making decisions, establishing her character, moving the story.
Jyn is just along for the ride.
Along for the ride, exactly. That is, I have felt like Rhaenyra has unfortunately been kind of a Jyn the past couple episodes. And I feel like in this episode, she's starting to just like have more meaningful conversations. I can agree to that. A part of decisions here, which it's just so necessary,
I can agree to that. I also want to say, like, I don't know if this is more due to credit, like a credit to like Daemon being in their lives, having more of a consistent father figure, but I feel like her children were acted much more like mature and like
yes,
they had good responses to like situations throughout this dinner too, where Jace like doesn't rise to like Aegon's mockery.
He does, but very more of a sly way, more of a backhand way.
It was more mature about it. But yes, I agree in that Rhaenyra, like, props to her for taking the first initiative.
Yes.
After, Viserys makes this impassioned speech to basically, like, apologize to Alicent, and say, hey, you have been with my father through thick and thin for a long time, so...
And that means
thank
a
you
lot
for that,
to me.
and that means a lot, exactly.
Right.
So...
There was a second there where I didn't think it was going to be reciprocated, and I'm glad it was.
Yeah.
I really liked Alicent in this moment. And Aegon, like during these speeches and whatever, just Aegon being a real fucking cunt.
Being a fuck boy. That's what he does.
Bro. Oh, we're not supposed to say cunt on YouTube, huh? Fuck.
Nobody's watching anyway.
Nobody's watching anyway. Man, the sheer like fuckery that this child is, I cannot hell, I would love to just beat the living shit out of him.
For sure.
Boy, is he insufferable. But good on Jace. Good on Jace.
I said good on Jace.
Just being like, hey, look, you can joke with me all you want, but watch your mouth around my lady, okay?
Yeah. Good on Jace for the moment. Then they do take the bait with old almond milk. I feel like that wasn't even that bad. Like, you could have let that slide. I feel like
he should have let it slide. But I mean, you got to think about like how pressed they feel about being bastards.
Yeah.
You know?
After what Vaemond said in the hall, that's
truly.
Yeah.
I mean, every momentous scene we've had with them, they've been called out for being bastards. So like,
almond milk. What did I say? What, bro? All I said was they were strong. I just said they're strong, bro. Dude, what do you want? What? Come at me, bro. Come at me.
I love almond milk's toast, by the way. Like,
you fucking would.
I fucking loved it, dude. I stand for
yeah, we
right now.
fucking know.
Oh man, I am investing in this motherfucker a lot. Boy, yeah, actually, all the stock that I had in Viserys, because he's probably dead, I'm gonna just go ahead and buy up some Aemond stock.
He sure didn't want to step to Daemon though. He
didn't want to step to Daemon
real quick once Daemon kind of stepped in and was like, "What's up?
Yeah,
what's up? What you got?"
Yeah, I did like that. I like how Daemon didn't like egg him
escalate.
On, escalate. He just stood there and was like, "You're fucking with my family." And
Daemon already got his escalation in for the day. Like, he was all escalated out.
Even just like, okay, I'm gonna walk away.
I forgot about that moment. Even after he just slices a dude's head into, and like, it's cool, we're all cool here. You can have it. Like, fine. What do you think I'm gonna do?
All
Something crazy?
Kill a guy.
All I did was slice a guy's head in half. Wait, overreactionaries over here.
Yeah.
Very good stuff. Yeah. Then we get the final scene, of course, which may have just turned everything on its head. All of the work that was just done at that dinner. I don't know. Like, is that what we're reading on this? Is that this is Alicent now gonna be like, oh, I have to uphold the bloodline if this is what you're telling me is true?
That's how I'm taking it. I do think it's very funny. I think it may be in one of the memes that somebody in the Discord sent. Basically, like, so are we supposed to believe that like this very, very tragic Targaryen civil war was because Alicent misunderstood a fever dream that this fucker was having, like,
or no, I think it was that Viserys mistook Alicent for Rhaenyra,
something like that. Yeah.
He do be mistaken people.
He do be making that mistake, yes.
Didn't he call Alicent Emma last episode too?
Yeah, he sure did.
Oh, my guy.
So, yeah, man, I feel like that's kind of like how she's going to take it.
What was her line? Like, I understand, my king, basically. Like,
yes,
yeah. There's another Aegon now, by the way, who is actually true Targaryen blood. I don't know if anyone else is thinking that. That was my first thought.
Right.
I just don't want that fuckboy to be a king.
Yeah, no kidding. You know, I feel like this whole... Okay, so here is my maybe only... I don't know that I want to call it an issue, because I don't think it's even as big as that, but we're talking earlier about how
concern.
Yeah, maybe just it makes me feel a little uneasy about the story or like plot devices here.
That would be a concern. Yeah.
I feel like maybe I'm just overthinking it. Is what I'm saying.
Sure.
It could be a problem depending on how this all plays out, but like the bringing back the prophecy, right? The Song of Ice and Fire prophecy.
Sure.
Loved the call out the first time. Now it's being made a little bit more of a catalyst of the actual story here, right? Like it is if this is how this happens, it's kind of a big deal, you know?
Yeah.
And so like I don't know that I love that like they are. I don't know if HBO felt the need to tie them together, right? To give us that prophecy and like make the story about that, which I really hope not, right? I hope not. I want this to be great on its own, and if we get Easter eggs, great. But I feel like it's being made a little bit more of an Easter egg, and I don't know that that's something to have a problem with. I just, in my own way, I'm kind of feeling like maybe this is a little easy, or they're trying to make it fit, I guess. Yeah.
I will say my concern going forward, and obviously, you know, we need to reserve judgment till we know more and see what's actually going to happen. I think we've said before, I did not even watch the next on.
Yeah, we don't watch those
before we come in here. So
wait, do you watch those usually?
I don't usually watch them at all. No, yeah.
Okay, I don't watch them. We've never established this. Good thing we're.
Yeah, like people are probably like, "Did you see the next time on?" No. Yeah, never watch those. I like to be in the moment and surprised. Again, I want to see how this turns out and how this works, but I don't know how I will feel about there being this reconciliation, and obviously there was still tension between like Almond Milk and the other kids, but like Alicent and Rhaenyra were like on pretty decent terms there at the end.
Rhaenyra.
Like, you know, Rhaenyra, yeah, was like, hey, I don't want you to leave, and you know, it seems like they're, you know, almost friends again, or you know, are willing to like build those bridges back up. And if it now turns to war because of this, kind of small thing, I don't know how I will feel about that. Because it almost feels like just a unnecessary bait and switch.
I haven't really thought about that, but now that we're talking about it, I kind of feel like they are going to try and make things work for a little, and I feel like the relationship that the children have with each other and Otto will probably get to pulling strings.
I hope so. I hope that is the case, and not just Alicent hears this and is now like, "Fuck you, Rhaenyra, I'm out."
Yeah.
Because again, I'm not. I want to say most everything this show has done, I've been a big fan of, and I'm here for it. So I hope this fear is assuaged in the next coming episodes, but just that's kind of my
right. And like I think at the end of all this too, like, you know, we're watching these episodes under a microscope, right?
Yeah, definitely.
And our intent here, for those of you who are just joining, our intent here was to be more casual than the way that we're watching, you know, Game of Thrones.
That hasn't exactly happened.
And I mean, it's hard, you know, it's hard because we do want to have stuff to talk about, but also like we're not here like analyzing every single thing. I think we're just watching more intentionally than like a casual viewer would, but not like the way that we are putting, you know, our Game of Thrones series.
Right.
Like,
hey, remember when we were talking about doing this show and we were like, yeah, we can have like 30-minute episodes and it'll be easy.
Yeah, no shot, dude. No shot. Especially not after an episode like this.
Yeah, true. What are you any final thoughts, Zach?
Yeah, well, I was in the middle of one, you dipshit.
Well, I'm going to interrupt you. Zach, do you have any final thoughts? Please, grace us with your final thoughts, buddy.
I was just going to say that even if even if that is Alicent's like turn, hearing that, fuck you, Scott, I hate you.
I'm such a sarcastic dick. I'm sorry.
Even if that is like her turning and saying, all right, like all this reconciliation, all this work that was done, like, will that be disappointing? Yes, but is that going to ruin it? No.
No,
I mean,
I'm not trying to say that. But it's just, you know what? If they pull it off right, it might be very interesting that she views this as like her husband's dying true wish, and now she feels like she must uphold that.
Right. Yeah.
So
could see that. What are you rating this episode, Scott?
Hey, I am. Are we only doing like 0.5s, or have we done any in betweens?
Dude,
I do whatever we do. Whatever we
do
want,
whatever
right?
the fuck we want, man.
I'm gonna go 8.75.
Interesting. Wow.
8 and 3. 8 3/4.
8.75.
Repeating.
Okay, interesting. I think I liked this episode more than you. I didn't want to say anything earlier, but like when we started the episode, but this is my favorite episode of the season.
Really? Okay.
Yes.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So what are you giving it?
I think I'm giving this a 9.5.
Okay. All right.
Yeah. This episode
I'm here for it.
Unbelievable. I feel like
it did have my boy Viserys' music.
Dude, no kidding, bro.
Fucking love it. I'm not even joking or memeing when I say I think he might show up next episode. Like I like the opening scene is just gonna be him sitting there as a skeleton, just a full on Halloween talking skeleton like you see on like a trick or treat porch.
Just like that.
Yeah, exactly.
You like wave in front of his face and he like jumps off.
The
ones that dangle that like
yeah,
dance,
yeah. All jokes aside, like if this is the last we see of him, which it probably is,
we're gonna see him in like a funeral in some sense.
Yeah, it could be,
probably,
unless they time jump again.
I think I read that this was the last major time jump.
Well, I mean major, but they could go a couple months or something like that.
Fair.
I R.I.P. to our boy, like Paddy Consantine, absolute legend. What a performance!
Truly,
what a character.
Do we even have to award a winner this episode?
No, fuck no. It's him.
If anybody thinks that Viserys didn't win this episode,
yeah,
please go rewatch.
I don't know what to
and then
fucking
fuck
tell
right
you.
off.
Shouts to Damon, who I also think had a very strong episode, but fuck right off.
And Aemond had a strong episode.
Your boy Aemond, God.
Hey, Aemond had a good episode.
But it's no contest. There's literally no contest. It is Viserys.
Yes, truly.
That is going to do it for us. This has been Hot D, House of the Dragon, Episode 8, The Lord of the Tides. Thank you folks so much for joining us and listening to us ramble for way too goddamn long. Go check out the Discord, the Twitter, the Instagram, the Facebook, all the things that we love and want you to do. Join us on YouTubes or whatever it is. Like, subscribe, If you prefer, most people listen to us as a podcast. Keep doing that. We appreciate that too. Do whatever makes you happy. And what makes me happy is talking to you, buddy boy.
Aw, thanks, pal. Dude, did you never mind. I don't know. Are you drunk? What is happening right now?
Just so
Why are you being such a sweetheart?
I just love Viserys so much. Thank you, folks. We will see you next time.
Bye.
Bye. Skeleton.